Welcome back to JPTV. We are your anchors, Bailey Graves
and Abby Mangum. We are excited to dive into this week's show and show you a little bit about national and school news. And now to our first segment, Hurricane Sally and the wildfires.
In some national news, Alabama and the rest of the Gulf Coast got hit with Hurricane Sally as a Category 2 hurricane. It made landfall yesterday at 4:45 a.m. It left thousands without power in Alabama and the Florida Panhandle. It is expected to bring 25 inches of rain in parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana. All this is happening in just 1 month after Louisiana got hit with Hurricane Laura, a Category 4 hurricane.
On the west coast of the country of California, Washington State, Oregon are currently undergoing a large wildfire. So far, it has burned nearly 5 million acres and is continuing to grow. Thousands have been evacuated and sadly, 35 people have died due to the fire. This number is expected to grow as the fires continue to spread. Firefighters and volunteers alike are trying to contain it, but roughly 30% is contained. We will be right back after this quick commercial break.
Discover your voice.
Discover your creativity.
Discover your opportunity.
And your dream.
Discover your vision.
Your vibe.
Your passion.
And your moment to shine.
Join Applause this school year as the Fine Arts program at Jackson Prep leaves a lifelong impression on students' hearts and minds. We would love to grow this legacy with your support and dedication. Join Applause today.
We know that many plans have changed this year due to COVID, and we have tried to stay hopeful that events like homecoming will be made possible. We made a quick visit to the student body president, Tori Johnson, to get a few answers.
How have the school's plans for events like homecoming changed for this year?
Well, as of right now, it looks like we're going to have to postpone homecoming, and that date has not been set yet, but that's kind of up to the head of school and the principals. They're still communicating on that, but it doesn't look like it's going to be October 8th, but it definitely will be rescheduled.
So if our events get canceled, they will be replaced by other events later in the year?
Yes, so as of right now, we are planning on having homecoming around November or December, and then also possibly having a winter formal in January or February, and possibly a winter court. But also, in order to keep morale up, we're also planning a Halloween fest and a senior movie night for Christmas movies, and so we're just trying to plan different events to kind of keep everybody involved.
How will seniors be affected by these changed plans?
Besides homecoming, I would say that everything pretty much is the same unless numbers go up drastically. Hopefully we'll be able to have a graduation, hopefully prom. It just really depends on what happens with the numbers.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This week, the One Act took to the stage to perform their show, Smoke on the Mountain. Smoke on the Mountain tells the story of Saturday night gospel at a country church in North Carolina's Smoky Mountains in 1938. They're the main characters of the Sanders family, a traveling group making its return to performing after a 5-year hiatus. Pastor Oglethorpe, the young and eccentric minister of Mount Pleasant Baptist Church, has enlisted the Sanders family in its efforts to bring the tiny congregation into the modern world. Though the Sanders try to appear perfect in the eyes of the congregation, who wants to be inspired by their songs, one thing after another goes awry and they reveal their true natures. By the evening's end, the Sanders family have endeared themselves to us by revealing their weaknesses and allowing us to share their triumphs. It is a feel-good and hilarious show. We interviewed director Jessica Wilkinson to get further insight on this year's One Act.
Because of the COVID season we're in, the entire One Act Festival, both Drama Fest and MTA, as well as SCTC, it's all virtual this year. And so what they're having us do is tape the One Act, and then we send it off, just the one frame. You can't zoom in or out. It'll be interesting because you miss the, as you know, Bailey, you miss the interaction with the other schools and that in-person energy that the theater gives you. So I'm sad because of that, but I'm just so grateful that we're able to participate in any way. I thought I had two reasons actually. Because of the time it is, everybody's just kind of kind of down. You know, this 2020 year has been a little bit of a letdown. And this is such a feel-good show. It is just a silly, joyful, laugh out loud 45 minutes. And I think that's what we need. It's got great songs that you remember, you know, some of these hymns you remember back from growing up in these little country churches, and it's just a really good time. And the other reason I wanted to take the show is because I haven't been here when we've taken a musical to the One Act competition. So I don't know if we have. It's been way before I came along. So I thought that was a nice way to mix it up, to take a musical to the competition.
Prep Talk is being brought back to Brent's. Due to COVID, this broadcast has taken place at Prep until now. We are excited to announce that it will be open to the public with regulations on Wednesdays at 7:30. We got to attend Prep Talk this past week and hear some recent interviews to give you insight on the show and what it's all about. What do you enjoy most about hosting Prep and the show?
I love the people. I really love the cheerleaders. I love everything about it. It's a nice group. I love it.
What is the most popular dish during Prep Talk?
Breast burger with onion rings. Yes. And add bacon.
And what is the most ordered shake on a Wednesday night?
A chocolate malt. Yes, a chocolate malt.
How has COVID affected Brent's and just kind of the way it's run on a weekly?
Well, really not a lot. We had to take out some of the tables so we could, you know, make sure everybody was 6 feet. But for the most, it haven't. To me, it's still about the same. You know, just masks. People have to come in with masks. Got a couple customers, they get upset about it. But for the most, I don't see a lot that's changed. Because we always do sanitation. We always clean. So everything, like I say, to me, a lot didn't change. Just the hours.
How long have you been the host for Prep Talk?
Well, I started Prep Talk back in 2006 when we just had radio coverage. And now, of course, we have the video stream and everything. So since 2006, it's been a while.
Do you know of any other high schools in the state who have a similar show to this?
That's a really good question, and the answer to it is no. I've searched all over the state to try to find someone that gives an hour. Now, there may be some that do bits and pieces and put it on a video stream, but none that give an hour on radio live and an hour on video stream live. Nope.
And I know Prep Talk's been hosted at places like Char, Mugshots, and Lost Pizza, and now that it's brought to Brent's, what do you like about it being here?
Oh, goodness. Well, the food's really good. But I think it's an atmosphere conducive to having a show like this. You know, Char was nice and it was good food and everything, but it wasn't conducive to coming in a pair of jeans and a shirt or whatever and sitting down and talking with all your friends. And when I think back to what these places really started out as, it was a close community with football and all that goes with it. So I think it's a natural. I think it's a good fit.
And what do you enjoy most about doing Prep Talk?
I think, this is kind of, you may not believe this, but I think it's getting to know the kids, I talk about them on the sports that I carry and the sports that I do, and it's nice to know a little bit about them. When they come in here and they're sitting in the booth, we get to know who they are, and of course I get to know their parents, and some of them I already know, but a lot of them I don't, and it gives me a chance to be personable with them without being in a setting of a big interview kind of thing, like I'm getting.
This Tuesday, the Jackson Prep varsity girls softball team played their annual Go Gold game to raise awareness for the Children's Cancer Week. This event was support to the Children's Hospital and the Campbell Bulldog Fund, an organization that raises money and toys for those in need throughout the month of September. Although the fundraising occurs every month, this was the first year it was made into a MAD project, getting the whole school involved. Prep also partnered with Canton Academy to raise goods. The fundraising and involvement finally culminated in the Go Gold game, which the softball team beat JA 14-4. The special jerseys worn by the team to support the cause made victory even more special. The varsity football team will also do something in support, but their current plans are unannounced. And we will get back to our sports anchor, Thaxton Birch, after the break.
Have you ever wondered where Prep Patriots get their gear? Well, we have the solution, the Prep Patriot Shop. There are many options ranging from t-shirts, sweatshirts, socks, and even fun accessories. They also have hand sanitizer and face masks to keep everyone safe from COVID. The Prep Patriot Shop, open Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and on Fridays at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and at home football game nights at 5:30 to 7. Hope to see you soon, and go Prep!
Here at Jackson Prep, we strive for excellence and greatness. We take pride in our athletes, our program's histories, our facilities, our state championships, and our all sports awards. The Booster Club allows our athletes great benefits. With the Booster Club, we are able to remodel facilities such as the new locker room under the stand or the new women's weight room. We would like you to join the Booster Club today at jacksonprep.org.
Welcome back. Here at Prep, we've had many sporting events and news going on, such as senior softball night and girls soccer games. Prep has even begun the process of becoming the very first independent high school to turf their entire baseball field. But one major milestone for Prep is our soccer coach, John Marcus Duncan, securing his 700th win against JA. We interviewed Coach Duncan and asked him a few questions to help you all know a little bit more about our coach.
So what got you into coaching?
It was the summer before my sophomore year in college. I was doing a basketball camp up here at Jackson Prep, and the basketball coach at the time, Gerald Alston, asked me what I was majoring in. I told him I was planning on being a nurse, and he told me I needed to change it and become a teacher and a coach. So he was my high school basketball coach when I was here at Prep, and I took his advice, and the rest is history.
All right. So what's been the most meaningful win for you?
They're all special. I can look back and remember my very first win. It was in Greenwood against Washington School in the preseason tournament. Obviously I can think back to the 500s win, and that was special. And I think every state championship win is awesome too.
So what other places have you had opportunities to coach at?
There have been some opportunities that have come open. I guess there was an opportunity where I could have gone back to Mobile, Alabama, and been the boys soccer coach at a high school there where I was an assistant coach called UMS Wright. There's been a couple of schools around the Jackson area that have contacted me, but Prep's such a special place, and once you're here, you realize how special it is, and obviously being a Prep grad as well. This is a very special place, and it's a place that I don't see myself leaving.
So who's the best player, boy and girl, you've coached?
I think girl best player would have to be Laura Lee Smith. She was a starter here from her 8th grade to her 12th grade year. Tremendous goal scorer. She could also play in the back, play in the midfield. She went on to play at the University of Alabama, was an academic all-SEC player there, and now she's married and she's a doctor here. Guys players, there's been a lot. One that sticks out is Philip Buffington, who's the head soccer coach at Jackson Academy right now. Philip he tied the record for most goals scored in a season with 61 goals his senior year, en route to a state championship. So those two players, I think, really stick out as some of the standouts here.
Right.
Congratulations, Coach Duncan. The 2020 season keeps on rolling, as last week Jackson Prep went to Natchez to face off with Adams Christian County School. The Rebels entered the game foaming at the mouth to seek revenge after the tough defeat last year. Meanwhile, Prep enters the unforeseen bye week as Oak Forest had to cancel their game due to COVID restrictions. Still, Prep has been hot throughout the two games, posting 40 points in both outings, and things would seem to be taking a familiar shape for the Patriots. The offense would be led by running back Matt Jones. Matt would have 18 rushing attempts for 108 yards and 3 touchdowns. He'd also haul in 2 receptions for 27 yards. Newcomer Chris Peels, cousin of Matt Jones, had 2 touchdowns last Friday, one right up the middle breaking several tackles and the other an impressive scoop and score at linebacker. Meanwhile, the air attack will be most effective, led by Thaxton Birch catching 3 balls for 62 yards and 1 touchdown from Jeffrey Ince. As for the defensive side of the ball, Braden Mabry led the Patriots, and they would have a dominant performance with 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 2 fumble recoveries, making the Patriots undefeated while scoring a defensive touchdown. The final score being 42-8 as Jackson Prep heads to Jackson undefeated. Now for a quick recap of the other MAIS 6A schools going into Week 6. MRA holds the lead with a record of 4-0. Your Jackson Prep Patriots are close behind at 3-0, and the JA Raiders at a record of 2-2. We will be facing off against Lamar at home for the first time in 2 weeks. So be there, be loud, and remember, go Prep. Now for the question of the week.
Sarah, if you had any superpower, what would it be? Freeze time. Hey, what superpower do you wish you had?
Probably teleportation.
Grace, what superpower do you wish you had?
Invisibility.
Asa, what superpower do you wish you had?
I wish I could fly. I'd be a bald eagle.
Luke, what superpower do you wish you had?
Invisibility.
Mr. Yance, if you had any superpower, what would it be?
I've waited my whole life for someone to ask me this question. I think the superpower I want would be infinite knowledge.
Thank you so much for tuning into JPTV. We can't wait to bring you more weekly news. This is Bailey Graves,
Abby Mankum,
And Thaxton Birch.
signing off.